25 years ago, a Chinese girl named Liu Yiting got accepted to Harvard with a full scholarship. The news exploded. TV shows chased her, bookstores printed her biography, and parents across China whispered, "If she can do it, maybe my kid can too." She wasn't just a student, she was a national miss. Harvard back then, a golden ticket. Elite education, the ultimate dream. Fast forward to today, another Chinese girl, Jiang Yurong, stood on the same Harvard stage, this time delivering the commencement speech, Harvard's first ever female Chinese graduation speaker. And what did she get? Instead of applause, she faced a firestorm, torn apart by both Chinese social media and American voices. Both at Harvard, both young Chinese women. One became a legend, the other a liability. So in today's video, we are asking if Harvard didn't change, what did? Why have Chinese people stopped romanticizing Ivy League universities? And when exactly did Harvard lose its magic? Hello, I'm Cici Xiangchun. Welcome back to my channel. Today, let's talk about this topic. One year after Liu Yiting got into Harvard, her mom dropped a parenting bombshell. Harvard girl Liu Yiting, the ultimate Chinese tiger mom Bible, written by Mama Liu herself. This wasn't just a memoir, it was a motivational weapon. It sold over 2.6 million copies. And if you were a Chinese parent in the early 2000s, chances are you either owned a copy or felt bad for not owning one. The book promised a formula. Success boiled down to sheer willpower. The most iconic scene, Mama Liu made her daughter hold a piece of ice to train her resilience. Liu documented the experience minute by minute. Minute 1, bearable. Minute 2, stabbing pain. I read the brochure to distract myself. Minute 3, pain in my bone. I read it aloud to cope. Minute 4, lips beaten hard so the pen would shift from hand to mouth. Minute 5, hand turns blue, less painful. Minute 6, numbness setting in. Minute 7, just ice cold. Minute 8, complete numbness. Chinese parents moved to tears, not because their hands hurt, but because their hearts were on fire. This wasn't just about tough parenting, it was about hope. If a girl from China could muscle her way into Harvard, maybe their kid could too. Sure, the book does casually mention that Liu's Harvard acceptance was thanks in part to a stay with an American congressman during a U.S. summer camp. Yes, he got a glowing letter of recommendation, basically a VIP pass. But most readers skipped right over that. It spoiled the narrative. Why dwell on privilege when you can believe in sweat and sacrifice? And the era helped make it all feel possible. The late 90s was the honeymoon phase of US-China relations. The American dream wasn't just thriving in America, it was trending in China. Titanic ruled the box office. KFC and Coca-Cola meant you were modern. Starbucks was aspirational. The NBA was a religion. Back then, going to America felt like a catch in the future. Getting into Harvard, you'd already made it. So yes, the obsession with Liu Yiting was really about Chinese middle-class dreams. Dreams not of just education, but of upward mobility, global respect, and Western validation. Harvard wasn't just a university, it was a fantasy shortcut to power, wealth, and order. Liu didn't walk through those gates alone. She carried the hopes of millions of anxious parents. A generation who clung to the belief that merit could still beat the system. The Harvard would open its door if you just held on long enough. May 29th should have been Jiang Yurong's big day, a Chinese girl standing on the Harvard commencement stage. The first Chinese female ever to give the graduation speech.
Graduate English Address. Our Humanity. Candidate for the degree of Master in Public Administration, Yurong Luana Jiang.
By all accounts, it was set up to be a national W, an underdog story, a moment of glory, a tale for the ages. Instead, it turned into a PR disaster in record time. Within hours, Chinese social media lit up with backlash. So what went wrong? Let's break it down 3 levels of meltdown. Level 1, a washing machine and a broken narrative. She opened with a story from her volunteer trip to Mongolia. The punchline, China's exported washing machines didn't come with English manuals.
Last summer, when I was doing my internship in Mongolia, I got a call from 2 classmates in Tanzania. They had a very urgent question: how to use their washing machine, because all the labels were in Chinese.
Netizens quickly called her out. Come on, an exported washing machine with no English instructions? That's pure lie. Then came part 2. Turns out those washing machines weren't even being used by the poor rural families she claimed to help. They were in the apartment of the 8 elites, the local villagers, still fetching water from wells.
我自己是在旧金山读工业设计的，在2018年的时候，我在坦桑尼亚实习了8个月。我没有通过任何 NGO program， 我是直接跟学校写信做他们的 visual art volunteer。头4个月我没有见到过任何中国人，我也是那个学校第一个中国志愿者。它是坦桑尼亚乞力马扎罗山脚下 Moshi 的一个小镇。当时我的一个观察是什么？起码在那个小镇，大多数本地家庭它不会用洗衣机，它甚至没有洗衣机。我自己住的房子还比较好，它有一个饮水管道，但是绝大多数的家里它甚至供电和供水都有困难，所以他们是用一个公共的自来水管，然后去接水。他们用那个油漆桶或者其他的桶子，然后小孩子就会自己顶着水或者拎着水，然后到家里。我当时洗衣服的时候，我的住家妈妈雇佣了一个小保姆，然后熟悉洗衣服的。但是呢，本地什么样的人会有洗衣机，而且能够非常轻松的用洗衣机呢？是那些欧洲的医学院的交换生，他们住的那个小别墅的配套是非常非常完整、非常非常细致的，他们就可以用洗衣机洗衣服。所以那一下子就让我引起了，你懂吗？我的一个个人经验的一个敏感度，我就觉得，你们听上去还是象牙塔里的那些人在享受着西式生活，然后你跟我讲，你好像很伟大的在解决一个问题。
So her speech, meant to express empathy, ended up exposing something else, a class-blind imagination. While suffering is narrated from a distance, filtered through privilege and polished for applause. Level 2, elite speak, perfect grammar, there or so. What really robbed people the wrong way wasn't just the factual slip-ups, it was a tone, that smooth, well-rehearsed elite speak, polished but empty of life.
All right, so first, let's get down to the moment in question that everyone has been talking about for the past 3 days. The 2025 Harvard graduation commencement speech. And man, that ending pissed a lot of people the fuck off.
If a little boy dies in a war that he didn't start and never understood, part of me dies with him.
The exaggerated expressions and absurdly high moral standards. The entire thing is an attempt to morally guilt trip the audience.
Level 3, Privilege, Connections, and the Invisible VIP Lane. As the internet kept digging, more puzzle pieces fell into place. Her father, tied to major environmental NGOs with unclear funding streams. The volunteer projects closely linked to those same organizations. The overseas education aided British and American schools millions in tuition, framed as self-funded through part-time jobs. Let's just say no one was buying it. And that's when the real frustration broke loose. She wasn't just a model citizen giving back. She looked like someone born at the finish line, pretending to struggle at the starting block. Put it all together. Fragile facts, hollow words, murky privilege, and you get the perfect storm. Jiang wasn't just critiqued. She became a symbol. What's behind Jiang's collapse isn't just personal. It's a failure of an elite education template. The academic climber headed straight for Ivy League PhD. The careerist groomed for consulting investment banks or corporate giants. The policy type all about student councils, NGOs, and resume stacking. It looks like freedom to explore, but really, everyone's living inside a pre-written template. Study abroad this year, inner next year, awards after that, grad school by 24. Every step must produce a highlight. Double majors like econ plus literature or engineering plus finance. That's not passion. It's marketing positioning. Majors don't cheer you. HR does. Because in this game, your resume isn't a reflection of your growth. It's a product. And love, immersion, curiosity, in the eyes of success culture, that's just inefficient. Who has time to grow slowly? So, what do students learn in this system? Simple. Always choose the highest ROI path. Learn to speak clean, pack your story with shiny labels. Make yourself look like someone success would pick. But what this system really teaches is how to speak correct nonsense, how to sound perfect without understanding anything at all. Like Alexis de Tocqueville once said, there is a kind of ignorance born from knowing too much. Speaking of things one's never truly experienced, doing things one never truly learned. Jiang isn't an exception. She's a perfect product of a system that's no longer working. And Jiang proved it. In a later interview with a Chinese magazine, she said the personal stories were just hooks to get attention. What mattered, she said, was framing the grand narrative of our times. But here's the thing, if you strip the personal out of the grand narrative, you are left with a pure performance, and the audience can smell it. The final punch. During an interview, as a scuff broke out behind her, Jiang didn't even flinch. She just kept talking about global narratives. Empathy, it seems, was more of a talking point than a lived experience.
I have to put it into one sentence, it would be humanity rises and falls as one. I think we are living in a very difficult time. There's a lot of divisions in terms of ideas, ethnicities, identities. And I think this is a time where we can use a little bit more moral imagination and imagine ourselves.
Jiang Yurong probably didn't see this coming. She took the stage at Harvard, speaking confidently about our shared future and the resonance of human destiny.
But today, that promise of a connected world is giving way to division, fear, and conflict.
On Chinese social media, labeled a fake elite and a speech robot trained by the US. American Twitter accused of sounding like a CCP spokesperson. So what went wrong? At the core of this meltdown is a deep crisis of public trust, especially toward the elite script she tried to deliver. High-minded, neutral, peaceful, the kind of speech once seen as wise and cosmopolitan is now read as suspicious strategic camouflage. In the US, a conservative mega account with a huge following amused immediately jumping, calling her out as a potential foreign agent sent to infiltrate the West. It's not just a trolling, it reflects a real shift. In today's DC, even a calm Chinese faces seen not as soft diplomacy, but as soft infiltration. This phenomenon has a name: soft power mistrust. Back in the day, political theorist Joseph Nye coined soft power, a nation winning hearts and minds with culture, ideas, and values. But in this new US-China standoff, soft power has a trust problem. The more you sound universal, the more people wonder, who told you to say that? Words are no longer neutral. Culture is no longer just culture. Everything's a message, everything's strategic. You see something moving, people ask, what are you covering up? You quote universal values. They question, whose playbook is this? Jiang tried to be the symbol of shared hope, thrown into the trash bin of both internets at the same time. As a graduate of Harvard Kennedy School, Jiang Yurong was supposed to read the room, especially when the room is the entire geopolitical stage. But clearly, she misread just how fractured the world has become and overestimated how much immunity elite neutral speak still has. Did she fail? Not exactly. She just collided headfirst with a much bigger structural meltdown. A time when elite education no longer guarantees respect and neutrality gets treated as betrayal. 25 years ago, Liu Yiting was the face of a shared fantasy, a Harvard field tale co-produced by China and the US during their honeymoon phase. Even if she got in through connections, people still believed that hard work could rewrite destiny. 25 years later, even if Jiang stood on the Harvard commencement stage, she couldn't escape the shattered halo of the Live League, no dodge the fallout of collapsing trust between two superpowers. She didn't just give a speech, she stepped into the wreckage of a broken narrative. Alright, that's all for today. If you like our video style, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Welcome to drop your any comment and thought. Thanks for watching and see you next time.